How willing are you to share the information that you've obtained with others? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Entrepreneur Insider. I'm your host and the founder of the Black Entrepreneurs Network, Tia Robertson. In this week's episode, it'll take on a little bit of a different format because I want to share a discussion that I recently had with you. As you know, Entrepreneur Insider was created so that I could share entrepreneurs of color that you should know about, but I also want to address topics that we should discuss amongst ourselves so that we can make a positive impact in our communities of color. Now, while we're impacting our communities and we're building our business and we're creating generational wealth, we can't forget to help other entrepreneurs along the way. There are a ton of people that are just getting started, they're thinking of getting started, or they may have well-established businesses, and it doesn't mean that they don't have questions. Here's the thing, when you have questions, where do you go? Wouldn't it be great to have people actually genuinely express concern for the questions that you have and give you accurate answers versus just telling you to Google it or YouTube it like you don't already know that? For example, most recently, I was in a group for entrepreneurs, and this is a pretty big group, thousands of people. And someone asked a question about drop shipping. I get it. It's a simple question. And it seems like maybe something they could Google and look up on their own. But the reality is when you Google, when you YouTube, you get a lot of replies. So it's not always easy to distinguish which ones are fact and which ones may be stretched out a little bit. And it doesn't help that when we're in their social media groups or on Instagram, people always seem like they're an expert, right? Everyone has thousands of views and they have flashy backgrounds and they're showing you pictures of all the packages that are going out and amazing success from their drop shipping business. It can be kind of difficult to determine who's telling the truth, who's stretching the truth, who really knows the answer and who doesn't. So I get why someone would ask a question. The other thing is a lot of times people assume that everyone knows the answers to things. And the reality is you don't. You hear about a thing, you see everyone talking about it, and you're like, oh, I want to know what that thing is too. So my question is, why is it so difficult just to answer that question for people? It is one of our responsibilities, I think, as just good people, to answer questions and help others out when we can. Now, I know everyone has their own opinion of that, and that's why I made this interview, because I want to hear what your opinion is. When someone asks you a question and you know the answer, do you tell them or do you tell them? Go research it, right? Like I remember growing up, if I had a question about how to spell a word, the answer that I would commonly hear in my household was go look it up. Of course, at that time we had a dictionary. Now, the difference is the dictionary really is a resource tool, right? It was a reference book that we would go and we would absolutely find the accurate spelling, the definition, and more about the word. We didn't have as many resources. Now, while I'm a huge advocate for people doing their own research, I definitely see the value in sometimes just giving people what the definition is and just keep it moving. Now, if they want more information, then of course I might share where they can go and find out on their own. Sometimes people just need to know who they can go to get accurate information, who's going to be their ally, or if it's even worth their time. Sometimes in the case of this drop shipping question, a person just kind of wants to know what's drop shipping and they want to keep it moving. If they want to develop a business or do something more, then yeah, they can reach out to some resource or buy some course. But a lot of times they just need to know, okay, now I know, and now my life goes on. So, how willing are you to share the tips, the tools, the information that you've obtained with others? Now, here's something for you to think about. One, anything that you share, yeah, there's this mentality that people think they're going to take what I share and they're going to repurpose it or they're going to resell it or they're going to give it away. You don't know what people are going to do with the answers that you give them. But no matter what they do, if they do try to repurpose it or repackage it or resell it, they're not going to do it the same way that you do. So there's some security in knowing that you are unique and you have your own perspective. So again, just answer the question and let it go. Here's another thing to think about. People of wealth and of means, whether it's financial or otherwise, will always tell you that the way to get or to gain is by giving. Now, what does that mean? A lot of times, people of wealth mean that they don't really want any more money. They're giving their time because they realize that it's their way of giving back. People of other means give of their time, their expertise, because they know that it makes a difference in the lives of others. If I gave you an answer to your question, you're going to see me as someone that you can trust, that is knowledgeable, and that you want to associate with. So that's building a relationship. That means you're more likely to buy my thing, come to my event, and share me and my existence with the people in your community. That is how I gain by giving. So, considering that and that of all the people in the world that have, why wouldn't you take the opportunity to give an answer to a question? So, I was at a recent networking event and I asked the attendees how often they share information or if they notice the trend of people saying, buy my thing, Google it, when they saw people online ask questions. In the video that you're about to see, they give you their insight on this situation. Stay tuned, and at the end, I want to hear from you. What do you think? What do you think about sharing information? What do you think about this video? And what takeaways do you have?
Here's something that I really wanted to get some input on. And I know many of you, is everybody here on Facebook? Because I don't want to make this assumption because a lot of people are on Facebook. Is everybody here on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So has anyone else noticed, or maybe it's just me, that when people ask questions, ask for help on Facebook, they're getting a lot of either one, here's my thing, buy it, or two, I'm not giving you my knowledge for free, either go Google it, or I worked really hard for what I get, and so I'm not going to answer you. Is anybody else kind of seeing that trend pick up on Facebook, or is it just kind of me? And you're welcome. You all can come off mute.
No,
in a quiet
it's picking
ahead,
up
Anthony.
on Facebook. No, it is picking up on Facebook. You get a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a price, or they ask the question, then when you reply, or you get in their DM, then the sales pitch come.
Why? Like, go ahead, Natalie. Oh, well, actually, I don't know. Sherry, were you off mute because you wanted to contribute? Because I think I saw you, Nat, before Natalie, or were you?
Oh, no, I was going to just shout, but I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Go ahead, Natalie.
No, I was going to say I notice it a lot, not just when somebody's like asking a question, but just like the actual status, like that would be the whole status. It's like, don't hop into my inbox if you're not going to pay me, or if you hop into my inbox, be prepared to pay this invoice. And like, I've seen that a lot lately, and I'm just like I know, like, education costs, I understand that. But then sometimes it's when people ask you a question, it's just to see if you actually know what you're talking about anyway. Like, and we living in an age where everybody is technically an expert in something. Like, you can literally create a title today You know what I mean? Just because you have a title don't mean that you actually know what you're talking about. So sometimes like people don't even necessarily know that they need your service, right? Because sometimes you put something out there that's kind of like vague and they have a question. And I've seen that a lot lately, like, well, you can pick my brain, but it was like they weren't really asking to pick your brain. It was literally trying to qualify themselves. Like, like you dead in trying to get money. And I understand that. I understand that's your business, but boo, like let them ask the question first to see if you are a good fit for them. But that's what I've been seeing lately.
Why is Shannon? Did you want to contribute? Because I know you were off mute. I was trying to look and see who else was off mute. Were you going to say something?
Oh, well, I can go ahead and say something. I don't know, like I sometimes I'll see that kind of stuff, but normally what I see is when somebody asks him, for help or whatever, then here come those calendar links or whatever you call it or whatever. It's like, so I'm asking for help, but now I got to go through all of this just to get on your schedule to have some kind of free consultation when you just can't just say, well, this is what it is, or inbox me. It's like, to me, people are just making, it's like they're taking it too far, if you ask me. I feel like we all have a right to ask a question. And no, not everybody, has the right, feel like they have to answer. But it's like, but if you do respond, don't be coming with some old mess. Like, you get on my calendar link, and then I got to do this, and then I got to wait a day or two or a week or two to talk to you. And then by that time, I forgot what I needed.
So I guess and that definitely makes sense. Thank you. I guess the thing that I'm really kind of curious about, and I want like you all to let me know like also what you think, and you're welcome still to reply to the other question that I asked, is like literally I was in a group yesterday and somebody asked what drop shipping was, which I thought was an honest question. It's not the first time I've seen it. Like everybody is like, somebody just said, everyone's an expert, and sometimes people just don't know. And I think it's rude just to be like, go Google. I mean, yeah, of course I can Google it. Of course I can YouTube it. But why is it in our community we can't just help another person out? Because even if I tell you everything that's in my head, you're not going to do it the same way I am. So do we have a responsibility to kind of like say, hey, I'm willing to help? Or should we just kind of step back and be like, hey, that's somebody else's post. I'm not even going to get involved.
I think a lot of people just gotten so money hungry that they have literally stopped being genuine. Like nothing is genuine anymore. It's all about that dollar. And to me, you don't have enough for me to even, like now, like she said, like everybody now is entrepreneurs. But what's your history? Like so.
Yeah.
Well, my opinion, and those that heard me before, I believe we just don't know any better, okay? Because when we moved out to Charlotte, we didn't know anybody. We didn't know anybody, one person. And they was 2 hours away in Raleigh. So we just moved out here. We met people, we built relationships. We invited strangers up over to the house so we can get to know people, okay? And like I met this physician, Black, okay? She's a family physician. So we're having something over here this Saturday with friends, with people who we know. I want to introduce her to other people like us, because we need to know that there are doctors and physicians that is out here. Everybody wants to sell. That's their main thing. I want to sell. But they don't realize that people, especially here in Charlotte, people have trust issues. So when they get to know you, then it may take a year or so. But then when they're looking for insurance or they're looking for something else, they're coming to you because they know you're not just trying to sell them. I know this person. I know that person. And then we've been here 3 years. We made $120,000, right? Because we just got out there and we building relationships instead of just trying to sell. Even in physical face-to-face networking groups, they just trying to sell you something. When you give them a call back, let's meet up. I want to know more about you. They don't even call you back because they think you trying to sell them something. So we don't know any better, and we have to break that barrier.
Yeah, I think
point.
it's to back up what Andre is saying. I think there's in it's not just in our community, but there are a lot of communities that have a scarcity mentality. It's a mentality that there's not enough money to go around. There's not enough information to go around, and that you want to hoard your information and hoard the money that you have. I think what would be good is if we had more of an abundance mentality. There's a lot of money and a lot of information to go around, so why not, share a little bit more? I think if we had that mentality, then we wouldn't see the type of, I guess it's kind of the clutchy mentality of, hey, that's mine,
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, Margie.
Can I say something too? I'm seeing like an abundance of coaches. Like, I'm a 6-figure coach. I can teach you how to make 6 figures real quick. And like what they're doing is they're teaching you how to sell. And the whole time it's just like they're focused on selling. And then I see a lot of people complaining about those coaches too. Like, I invested into this coaching program, didn't learn anything. They didn't teach me anything. I feel like I wasted my money. I've seen people say they didn't spend over like $10,000 on coaches to not learn anything. And it just seems like they're like, well, you just need to convince them that you can sell them at least one thing and just focus on that. But it's not like genuinely helping people. And I've seen a lot of that lately. Like, as soon as I get on Facebook, it's either ad after ad, like I've made 6 figures in my first 5 months of being in business, or it's some of my Facebook friends, unfortunately, where they're just glorifying how much money they've made. And then they get somebody into the program, and then they teach the person maybe 1 or 2 things, maybe not even that, but they pretty much just took this person's money. And it's not literally about the transformation at all, but it's just about the money aspect of it.
Yeah, I've been a victim of that. But I mean, to me, I think that's all about, yeah, I know there's some people that have spent like thousands of dollars, and I feel bad for you. But sometimes it's a matter about doing your due diligence and your research before you invest in somebody's thing. And that's, people are like, oh, I don't want to just give you my money. But I'm like, no, you need to do your research before you just, put cash out. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
And that leads back to what you were saying, Tia, in the beginning, like people are asking questions. I'm one of those people, and even to Andre's point about building relationships, I will ask questions to see who answers and see what information they're freely sharing and what they really know. I've hired coaches, I've worked with coaches, but I rarely work with anybody or sign up for somebody's services or personal training or anything unless I watch them and make sure they know what they're doing. So I'm one of those people who will ask questions, and I'll watch for 6 months to a year before I subscribe to something or I buy the service, because I want to make sure that you know what you're talking about. And not only do you know, but you practice what you preach, because it's a whole different thing. And so some of those questions are to see, and if you can't answer, these questions, then no. And if you don't care enough about me to answer a question or two or build this relationship, I'm not giving my money to you. And so people think, oh, they answer what, they can go Google it. They're really interviewing you. They want to see what it is that you do or say you do. Can you really do this?
There's one secret. Nobody wants to do what you're doing. Nobody don't. Their time is very valuable. They rather pay somebody, at least I do. I'd rather pay somebody. I have a personal assistant, base shop coordinator, and all the little small paperwork that takes up so much of my time because I can't spell and stuff like that, I pay her. I just have her do everything. So people want services. People just scared to give them that free information. That free information gets them, okay, well, you know what, let me support you. I have more information. That's, so yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
But that's still
sometimes the free gets to people.
I'm sorry, Tia.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Smita.
I was going to say, still that goes back to being genuine or not. What is your mindset? Are you one of those that are willing to help? And you can always tell for a person that is genuine, that is not genuine. Because at the end of the day, if you're willing to help, the money will come to you. So it to me, it still goes about the person in their spirit. Like, you can kind of sense that literally from a mile away.
Have any of you read that book, The Go-Giver? I can't think of who the author is, and I can look it up while we're talking. But like the premise of the book, and it's not the only book out there, right? Is that the people that do well and their businesses are successful and they get customers are the ones that give value. And I know that's kind of like a cliche thing too, but it's true. Like if you give value, and it doesn't mean you have to give everything away. Like one of the approaches that I really like, and I do, and a couple other people I know do, is like we'll sit down and be like, okay, I'll talk to you for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, give you a chance to get to know me. I'm not inviting strangers in my house like Andre, but it gives us a chance to start having a dialogue. And then from there, if you decided, one, I don't know what I'm talking about, like Sadidra or somebody was saying, then we can cut ties. But if you actually want to know more, or you want to, dig a little bit deeper, get more specific on your business, then we can say, okay, now the next step is blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't really see people doing that kind of combination of things. Go ahead, Sherry. Is it Sherry or Cherie? I'm sorry.
It's Sherry. Yes, it's Sherry. So along with that, like you were saying, as we know, the more you give, the more you receive. And they do have that saying that the people who give and help the most people are the ones that actually will end up receiving the most. And like you were saying, people on Facebook, everybody wants money for everything to share, even a piece of their knowledge. But they don't know if they were to help more people and not charge for everything, they would actually receive more. And so that's what, I'm really trying to do, help people so that I'm genuinely helping and not just trying to get money or something out of it. I know I have to live, I have to eat, but still help people share the knowledge that I have and, stop trying to nickel and dime people for everything.
Yeah, totally. Because when you share your knowledge and we're like, oh, we know Sherry, she knows this, give her a call.
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of what everybody said. I have a coach now for my skincare line. And like the young lady said earlier, I watched her for about 8 months to a year. And she's higher than another coach that I was going to go with. But I felt more comfortable watching her. I actually reached out to some of the people that she helped in the industry. So at this point, I'm saying the money that I paid for is for her coaching is valuable to my business. But then also we have people that want the information, but not willing to do some of the work. They want all the free work and free information, but you won't do the work. Like I give you a simple example with my skincare line. One of the things that they mentioned before I do anything with Facebook, because that's like the new thing, Facebook ads, whatever, was the lady that told me, do you have a funnel? They had no clue what a funnel was. So she gave me a template of a funnel and basically was saying, there's no sense you paying money for a Facebook ad if you don't have a funnel. Because once somebody come to your Facebook, they click on the ad and they don't buy it, then what? And I was like, I don't know. That's why you need a funnel. But I had to do the work myself to understand what a funnel was. But at the same time, she gave me the free information on what a funnel should look like. So it was a combination of both. You got to be willing to do the work. People got to be, if they, not about the money, and like the lady just said, you're going to make your money. You're not giving me the world. You just giving me a start to say, okay, maybe we can have a business relationship. So I think it's both parties got to be willing to be a partnership.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's totally great. Okay. So I heard everybody's input. How do we make a change, right? How do we affect change so that way people do start having an abundance mentality and they do start making connections, start giving more, start actually doing their research? What can we do? What can you do? Like, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Camille.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm also in a business coaching right now. It's been amazing. Definitely an investment, definitely a step out in faith and all that good stuff. But I've been learning about what my inner lane relationship with money is. So I just think it's very beneficial for us to come to terms with the relationship that we have with money and that scarcity mindset and all that good stuff, because once we realize that there is an abundance and that money should not be something to hold on to and something to try to hoard, I think we'll be more open to wanting to, offer the value and offer the service in a more genuine way, because we realize that it's never going to run out. And also, I think, we can be the trendsetters and, just be the example that everyone looks to. And yeah, just it starts with us, really and truly.
All right, so I want you all to think a little bit, because I'm anyone knows me knows, and I know cliches when I say this, I'm all about, but I am really I want to have safe spaces where we can have these conversations and we can vent, because like I said, I really felt for this lady yesterday, but I also want us to actually be action takers, right? That's actually one of the reasons why we formed this. What insight did you get from this video? Better question, what action steps can you take to make the difference in the lives of another prospective or existing entrepreneur? Someone who just has questions. Can you be willing to answer their questions on your time without charging them? You could be more upfront about what your policies are and your consultation fees. Can you create a resource that could be given away or even sold for the sake of helping someone out and answering their questions? What positive difference can you make in our communities of color to help people find the answers they need without just saying Google it or visit YouTube? Tell me about your experiences down below with helping others find the answers to the questions that they have. And if you want to be featured in a future episode, let me know. If you want to sponsor an episode, I want to hear from you too. My email is info@theblackentrepreneursnetwork.com. Now, as always, this show is brought to you in partnership with Relationship Entertainment Television. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and tune in for their full line of positive and engaging programming. Until next time, don't forget, be great. Peace.
Well, they do that, cause we do that though. I see you talking, so we gon' take it though. And yeah, talking cheap, so don't do that though. My click 100 deep.
This is Tyron
and Nicole with your weekly RATV news break. Each Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll come to you with the latest news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We know there's a lot of positive news that doesn't get reported, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your story here on RATV. If you have a positive news story you want us to share, you can submit your story to news@re-tv.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Download the new RATV Live app on your mobile device and follow Relationship Entertainment Television on your favorite social media platform.
Don't forget, make sure you tune into the RATV News Break each Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Growing up in the church, we saw a lot. Things that people refuse to talk about. The elephants in the room. Mental illness, sexual abuse, broken families, domestic violence, and so much more. The Big E, The Elephant in the Room, is a show that sheds light on these topics. We're here to speak about the unspeakable.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week, because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. TV every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.